everyone, and welcome to the Talks A Lot Boys. I am your host, my name is Tyler, and today I'm once again joined by the magnificent Brennan Matthews.
What's going on, folks?
And the also kind of okay Kyle Steinley.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, how's it going, guys? Interesting, but all right, it's fine. It's fine.
Disrespectful.
We'll roll with it, I guess.
No, it's cool, it's cool.
I guess.
A few weeks ago, we did a little review and song ranking of Dance Gavin Dance's new album, Afterburner, and we had a really fun time doing it, and it was surprisingly well received. So we decided, you know what? We're just going to keep riding this hype train as far as it'll take us, because any excuse we can get to talk about Dance Gavin Dance, we're going to take it. So we're just going to start going down the line of these albums in reverse order and do some more song rankings. So today we're doing a song ranking of Artificial Selection. Arguably the best album they put out. Arguably.
It is a hot topic at the moment, seeing how they just released a new album.
Yeah. I personally like the new album a little bit better, but I think on a technical level, Artificial Selection could technically be considered. I think they're equal tier, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
That's fair.
You can justify thinking either one is better.
Yeah,
I personally like Afterburner, but this album slaps super hard also.
Oh yeah, this one's incredible. Right when we did Afterburner, I had mentioned that I felt like I had a feeling that Artificial Selection was a good bit better than Afterburner, but letting it simmer a little bit. It's been a little while since that one came out. I re-listened to this album for this podcast, full dedication to hearing everything about it. They're very close, way closer than I had initially thought. I do think I agree with you. I think Artificial Selection. Well, no, you said Afterburner you thought was better, didn't you?
I personally like Afterburner better, but I don't know if it's necessarily technically better. Yeah. It's just my personal opinion. I like it more.
Right. I think my personal opinion, I think I like Artificial Selection just a tad more. But I think
that's fair.
We'll keep riding it out. We'll see where it goes. Honestly, I feel like it's one of those scenarios where if I turn on one album, I'll think that one's better in that moment because it's that close. It is just
that's understandable. Honestly,
they're so neck and neck at this point. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, Brennan, how do you feel about this argument before we actually get into this?
I was actually just about to throw my hat in the ring anyway, but after letting Afterburner simmer for a minute, it's pretty much the last couple weeks. That's like that and other bands are all I've listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, listening to Artificial Selection a few times in preparation for this, I got to give the thumbs up. In my opinion, I like Artificial Selection more.
Nice. I can respect that.
That's no bashing of Afterburner. I fucking love Afterburner.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is one of the best albums that's come out so far this year. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very deserving of its high rankings on the Billboard 200 and all the charts and stuff.
Especially with it just being digital release right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is still really impressive they managed to do that without having any physical copies sold at all. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that just shows the DGD fandom is at an all-time high right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
And deservedly so. I mean, this band fucking slaps.
Absolutely. I am going to say before we go into this, just because I know you guys are gushing about this album more than me, but I would just like to throw my 2 cents in here real quick. The first time I listened to Artificial Selection, the day it came out, was legitimately a fucking spiritual experience for me. I had never been that moved by an album ever in my life. I sat there at work. I did no work. I just sat there and I listened to it, filled my ear holes and my brain tubes with all that sweet, sweet DGD goodness, and just, oh man, just goosebumps the whole time. I was like, how can music be this good? How have I existed all my life and have never heard anything like this before? Even as far as DGD goes, I think it was just a major step up from Mothership, and oh man, it touched my very soul. And up until recently, it was my favorite DGD album. So I am definitely ready to tear into these songs and give them some rankings.
Oh boy.
Get it, boyo. Let's just dive right in there. Let's
cool.
just take a little taste.
Hell yes. So we'll give you guys the rundown of the songs on the album in the order that they are presented. We got Son of Robot, Midnight Crusade, Suspended in This Disaster, Care, Count Basie, Flash, The Rattler, Shelf Life, Slouch, Story of My Bros, Hair Song, Gospel Burnout, Bloodsucker, and Evaporate. And let me tell you, boys, this might actually be tougher to rank than Afterburner was.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's exactly what I was thinking before this.
Yeah, I was re-listening to the album this morning and just taking extensive notes. And just as the album progressed, I'm just like, fuck, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I rank any of these, honestly.
Well, I tell you what, I had a couple that really jumped out to me as like the front runners, and then I had more that like, and then there's like 5 that are like sitting near the top, and then all the other ones are so close. Like
Okay.
it's in my mind when I listen to this album.
Let's
Which
hash it out.
5 songs are those, Kyle? Why don't you throw them
Up
out?
near the front. Well, let me tell you, for me, it is Suspended in This Disaster,
Yes.
Ooh,
Care.
yes.
Yes.
Story of My Bros,
Yes.
Count Basie,
Yes.
and then Midnight Crusade.
Yes. I agree with all of those 100%. None of those are going to be on the bottom spots. Those are all, like, top-tier songs.
Brennan, what do you think about those 5?
The only song that, and Tyler, you're not going to like this.
Uh-oh.
The only song that I think out of that 5 is questionable, and even though I absolutely love it, is Count Basie.
I mean, I think you're wrong, but, you know.
I had a sneaking suspicion you said it's very, very much like out of left field in this album. I think this is the song that feels the most like new feel for
And
them.
that's not...
But that's what I love about it. It's
Well,
so
that's why I like
unique.
it too. I like it.
No, and I completely understand why you like it for those reasons, but I just, like, there's other songs that I just prefer over it.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not going to say that I would rank it as, like, the number 1 song on the album or anything. I just think it deserves to be in, like, the top half.
I can agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I definitely don't think, like, it's probably my favorite song on the album, but I don't think it's the best. Like, objectively. I definitely don't think it's the best, so.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it just, like I was listening to it today, a few times, and I was just like, I like it.
Yeah.
And I was trying like my hardest to be like as objective as possible, as far as like, okay, which of these is the best? And Count Basie just didn't do it for me.
That's
I
fair.
absolutely love it. Like you said, it's out of left field. It's different. It's like a different kind of vibe compared to like the rest of the songs on the album. I mean, like the only song that's like somewhat similar vibe wise, and this is only like in the beginning part of the song, I'd say is maybe Shelf Life, because it's like a softer kind of like slower jam. That's kind of kind of sad, But that's
Gospel
like
Burnout is kind of that, hits that same, like, somber tone, too. I
yeah,
would say.
yeah, but it does in like a different way. But yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does execute it in a different
yeah,
way.
like
I'm just
Gospel
saying,
Burnout,
like,
Shelf
yeah.
Life, and Count Basie are probably like the 3 of like the most similar. But all 3 of them are way out of left field,
Yeah.
comparatively to the rest of the album. But
I will say I think there is one song that kind of jumps out to me that is probably deserving of the bottom spot. And again, I made this disclaimer 1,000 times on the last video. I'm going to make it again. There is no song on this album that is bad. Every single song on this album is absolutely dope. They are incredible. They are all very well done, very well executed, very, very DGD. And it's just, it's an amazing album, 10 out of 10. But since we have to put something in the bottom spot, my vote is going to be Son of Robot goes in the bottom spot.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's not what I expected, honestly.
Okay.
it's not
Well,
what
let me hear your reasoning as to why it shouldn't be in the bottom spot. What do you think would go there instead?
Brennan, you want to take this one? I don't want to make decisions,
Kyle, you're not gonna like it, but I totally agree with Tyler on this.
Wow. Well,
It's just, and like Tyler made the disclaimer, and we're all gonna make this disclaimer. It's not a bad song at all. It's just not that it's like the least imaginative, but like it's kind of like what I expect from DGD.
Yeah.
And the fact, I mean, that it came out. I believe it came out as one of the singles, correct?
Yeah, it did come out as
album.
one of the singles. And I remember not really feeling anything about it when they released it. Because it just, like... And again, I like the song, but as far as, like, DGD goes, as far as the rest of the songs on this album goes, it doesn't really do anything to push the envelope. Like,
I agree.
It sounds good, but it's not as... You know, it doesn't really take me on a journey like a lot of these DGD songs do. It doesn't really switch up a lot. You know, there's just nothing really special about it in my opinion. It's a good song, but I think compared to all the other songs on the album, it just doesn't really do anything special to stand out or rise above any of the other songs.
Yeah, like this song and I guess Prisoner from Afterburner, they seem like they're like safe openers.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
the albums, you know. And like I said, not that Son of Robot's bad. I mean, like the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, so they're kind of like, I don't know, I felt kind of like a Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise vibe, but then like to me, Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise is a way better song.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Chucky slaps, dude.
Chucky really is amazing. I remember when that shit
blew
like,
my goddamn mind.
And that shit came out as a single, and I'm like, damn, they're pushing the envelope, bro. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
And then it was like the opener for the album, and I'm like, damn. But then like Son of Robot, not as good as an opener, and like you said, doesn't really make me have any feels like the rest of the album does.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly was really surprised when you compared it to Chucky and the Giant Tortoise, because I was like, I think Chucky and the Giant Tortoise is fucking slapper. I think it's way
absolutely,
higher than Son of Robot. Chucky and the Giant Tortoise is one of my more liked songs from the band overall, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. But I'm just saying, like I remember like hearing it like right after the initial like opening, like from Tillian, like they get into like, you know, John Mess and they speed up the tempo of the song. And like for some reason I was just getting like a Chucky like versus the Giant Tortoise vibe. I don't know why.
I got you.
I didn't really get that at all, but I can understand like why you would like feel that.
Yeah, and then like I was thinking like as far as like songs that have opened all of these albums, and I'm like, well, We Own the Night and Chucky like fucking just destroy everything.
Right, exactly. I would argue that like those are two of the better songs on each of those albums, and like, you know, I mean, because it's no secret that We Own the Night is my favorite DGD song ever because I'm a basic bitch, but like, yeah,
but it's arguably
I think
their best song.
Son of Robot and Prisoner are just kind of like the opposite, where I think they open with like the weaker stuff on the album, and then they just ramp up to better stuff as you keep going.
Isn't it? That's really interesting to bring up too, because we seem to be pretty much in agreement that Artificial Selection and Afterburner are like the top tier albums of this band, and they are the ones that start with the songs that are like not the highest ranking songs in our opinions. And then those two albums that people are also arguing that are better right now, when you look online and stuff, they start with some of their biggest bangers. One of them definitely the biggest banger, and the other one,
one of them literally their biggest banger of all time they've ever made.
And that's often I feel like that's often the like the algorithm for bands. They often put like that number one song. Ooh, this is gonna be the one you remember. Ooh, this one's gonna be on the radio and stuff like that. You know? But they obviously are changing up their formula here with these last two albums, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a little bit.
I like it. They start the album safe, and then you get into like, because then it just makes like the super slappy stuff slap even harder because you know it's all an uphill experience.
Yeah, something tells me that's by design.
Yeah, that's got to be.
Because they're like,
anyway,
if we hit them with something soft, you know, they'll just go up from here.
Yeah. But anyway, we should probably move on. So I think I'm going to lock in Son of Robot in the bottom spot. Do I have anybody opposed to that?
Well, I mean, I'm opposed, but I will accept it. Let it be known that when people comment on this, if they do, like they did the last one, I support Son of Robot. I think it's a good song. I don't think it's the bottom list. I don't think it's the top of the list at all. I think it's very much a mid-tier song in my opinion. But
that's understandable.
That's just my opinion.
I can respect that opinion.
I think it feels good, and I like it a little bit more than some other ones on this list. But I can respect your guys' arguments. I think it's a good idea to put it in the bottom spot, because I think it does really, like, there's a lot of building to go from this spot here. I think it's gonna be a good old list here.
Well, what song do you think is the bottom tier song? Because we're gonna have to fill that second to worst spot, which I actually have genuinely no idea what to do for that. So it seems like you have some ideas. So why don't you? Why don't you throw some stuff out, Kyle?
And I don't think you guys are gonna like this because I think you guys like this song, but I don't know if it's true. I think my personal least favorite song on the album, and not that it's bad, like we will say 1,000 times. I love this song. I think it slaps. I think it gives me a very different vibe than most of other stuff. Is Shelf Life. I don't often come back to that song that much when I'm listening to this album.
I disagree with that a lot.
I figured.
I will let you explain your viewpoint on that.
Yeah, I'm going to let you dig yourself deeper into blasphemy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just...
Although I think you could make a valid point, so go right ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel similar to any other song on this album, in my opinion. I think the vibe of this song really just is especially when I was re-listening to the album like straight through, like 1 to 14. This song kind of like is I don't know how to word it. Like, it feels like it kind of takes me out of the momentum of this album a little bit. I think it's a good song on its own, but in the context of what comes around it, I don't think it has that same vibe that flows this album as like a full overarching theme as much as like Afterburner does. There's a lot of like, it just constantly goes for me through Afterburner, whereas this is the song that kind of takes me out of it a little bit. And not that it's a bad song at all. I think I like it a lot. I like it more as a standalone thing. But when I think back to this album, this isn't the song I think of. And as far as an argument goes for like worst song on this album, I can't find a better reason to have, because like I had trouble figuring out where these songs placed. But when I listen through it and I'm like, oh, this song kind of catches me off a little bit than the other ones, that's the reason why I ended up sliding down to my bottom spot personally. I know that a lot of people love this song. I know Tyler really likes this song. I knew that going into this for sure. but yeah, no, I just personally have it at the bottom of my list.
Well, here's the argument that I'm going to give you for that. And again, I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think it should take this bottom spot. Because I think that, like you said, it like kind of breaks up the flow for you. But for me, I think that just kind of makes it stand out, where like, you know, it doesn't, just because it doesn't like blend in with the other songs, I think that's a good thing. Because to me, it jumps out more. Also, I think it's just I remember the first time I listened to the album and Shelf Life started, and Kurt Travis started singing, and I audibly was just like, holy fuck, it's Kurt Travis at work. And I don't know, it made me so fucking happy, because even though I don't really listen to the Kurt Travis albums that much, aside from like a few songs, like I do think that it was a really baller move for them to bring Kurt Travis back to do vocals on a song.
Yeah.
And I think that it fits perfectly for the tone they were going for, because it's a very unique sounding song. Like you said, it hits a very different vibe than a lot of the songs that they do. And I think that just kind of amplifies that, you know. And also, like, just the way that, like, the chorus blends, like, the John Mess vocals and then, like, the Tillian harmony shit underneath it is just, it sounds so good. So good. And like, I don't know, I don't think that I will allow it to rank as low, but that's my opinion. Brennan, what do you have to say?
Well, Shelf Life, I absolutely love it. Tyler, like you said, with the John Mess screaming parts with Tillian singing in the background, just perfect. Just, you know, it's just so much harmony going on. And it's like to me, like, that part of the song is just straight up beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with Kurt Travis coming in, you know, like the song it's like a really somber, you know, kind of, I always viewed the song as like a stepping stone between the Rattler and Slouch. You know, like, we just got through like a breakdown where, like, you know, like to me, like, the Rattler is like the Say Hi of Artificial Selection. Like, if we're gonna do like Afterburner things, I don't know why I always like compare songs between albums.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, that's fair, especially, you know, I think these two albums share a lot and also contrast each other in a couple different ways that I think is really interesting. So I feel you. I can also agree that it's like the Say Hi.
Yeah, it's like it shares a similar theme, but like the songs are totally different.
Yeah.
And like Shelf Life, it's just like the perfect. It's almost an interlude, but like because like you said, it breaks up the momentum. It's like, oh my gosh, like I want to kill somebody, and all of a sudden like and it's just like, holy shit, Kurt Travis, like you're like touching my ears. And I can agree with you that I think it is in the bottom half, because like a lot of the other songs, like it's just like to me it's just a breakup of the momentum. It's just like a respite, while like the rest of the album is like aggressive and technical and intricate, and like I'm not saying that Shelf Life isn't intricate, but it's more meant as like I said, it's more of an interlude.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's kind of like
when you said
stop.
that. Yeah, it almost feels like it kind of feels like the intermission music, kind of like to this entire album. And I you saying that kind of gives me a little bit different feel about it. I dig the way that you're selling it. I will also say something I didn't mention when I was talking about it is that I really don't have a lot of experience with Kurt Travis stuff with EGD, so that also didn't like strike me as hard as it did for you guys. Like I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh, that's fucking rad that he's on this album. But like it didn't really hold a lot for me because I don't really often listen to the Kurt Travis stuff. But
that's fair.
It's a shame because all the Tree City Session stuff that Tillian does of Kurt Travis's songs are better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
because
it's kind of true.
That's honestly the last time I listened to Kurt Travis stuff, because right when that was coming out, I was like, oh shit, I'll re-listen to the original, and I don't know, it I do think that you talking about it the way you did kind of sold me on it for being a little bit higher, but my counter argument, well, I guess not counter argument, whatever, I want to ask, what do you guys think would be next then to conclude?
I kind of have an idea, but I want to hear Brennan's thoughts.
Ooh.
Unless you don't have an idea, and then
I have 3 songs that, well, I guess really 2. Although I absolutely love these songs, but I could definitely see some of the other songs on this album being better.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Flash.
Same.
Flash on it, like I said on the Afterburner, and actually looking at it, Hair Song is actually a shorter song, but Flash is like on all these albums, there's always a song that's like just a little bit too short. Like it's catchy, it's going, like it's groovy. Like I always think of The Cuddler, I think of Frozen One. On Afterburner, I think of Night's Way. Well, on this album, I think of Flash. Like, if Flash was, like, it just had, like, a little bit more to it, I think it'd be, like, one of the greatest songs ever. But, like, I don't know. To me, it's, like really simplistic. It's really, like, just kind of, like, verse, chorus, it's like a typical song structure. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't know, it's cool. Like, John Messon's, like, creative, like, lyrics. Like, remember that time we shaved our armpits? Like, just dumb shit, like usual. And then, like the ending of it, like where it's like Tillian singing, and then like it's also him in the background, like adding some shit. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but there's a lot of other songs on this album that are better.
Well, what is the other song that you think is also in contention?
Well, you guys might not like this at all, but for some reason, Midnight Crusade.
Oh, I hard disagree with that. Hard disagree. That is not where I thought you were going at all. Because I was going to say, I think it's between Flash and the Rattler, personally.
No, I could not put the Rattler that low.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because I could put the Rattler that low.
Oh, motherfucker.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the Rattler is a bad song. And I say that for everything. But, like, because it is a really good song. It's definitely the most aggressive song on the album. It's kind of like, how we made the comparison on the Afterburner album that, and I can't remember off the top of my head what song it was, but it was like the secret band, like...
Oh, Say Hi.
Yeah, Say Hi. This, to me, the Rattler is like the secret band song of Artificial Selection.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, the Rattler is like...
Similar to Say Hi.
Yeah, to me, the Rattler is Say Hi done right.
And I can see that, yeah. But I think
But Say
You gotta,
Hi.
I mean,
Say
we
Hi had
ranked
better
Say Hi
lyrics,
pretty
though.
low on the Afterburner album, so if it's
Yeah.
just the same thing done better, I mean, I think it deserves to be in kind of a similar spot. And again, I like the song. It has a lot of things going for it. Like I liked how the chorus like hits a lot harder just because it's like the only clean part of the song, so it just makes it like cut through more. And then like the bridge is like super smooth, and it just fucking takes you to another dimension and then throws you back into the John Mess mosh pit at the end. Like, shit's incredible.
Dude, yeah,
It's
like
awesome,
to me, yeah,
but,
like to me, like the breakdown at the end just like puts it over the top. Like it's just, I mean, like you said, like the bridge, like where everything slows down and it's just Tillian like putting you to sleep, and the next thing you know, like boom, like you're getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, I guess can we all agree that Flash can kind of take that second to last spot then? Because I think we're all kind of on the same page on that one.
I mean, we're not, but it's okay. We can do.
Oh,
it.
well, I mean, do you want that to be
do
higher,
you like
Kyle?
No.
Flash?
Well, yeah, I like. Well, it's interesting because like the first time I listened to it, Flash was the one that like I thought was in this spot, and the more I've listened to that song, it has personally come up the list. It is very much like right. Actually, when I made my list, it is the middle song. It's my number 7 on my personal list. It came around to me, and I think that the reason it came back for me is because it's kind of the inverse of what you were saying, Brennan. Is that like originally I was like, oh, it's a little too short, whatever, and then like now that I listen to it more and I care, like I've given it more thought, I'm just like, oh shit, this song really does slap. Like I came around to it like opposite of the way you did, so I like it a good bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like Flash. Like, I think it's really fun, and I like the dynamic of how it kind of bounces back and forth between like the John Mess parts and the Tillian parts. They're just so like dynamically different, and it does a really good job of like just kind of hopping back and forth between it. But I don't know. I just think that this album just has so many like fucking legendary songs on it that I just can't justify putting that much higher than like
could
one
agree
of these
with
bottom
that.
spots.
Okay, I guess.
Same with the Rattler
Okay.
in my opinion, but I
Yeah.
know
Let me
Well,
pitch
well, Kyle,
this to you guys.
what's the second to worst song on your list?
I don't know how you guys. I actually don't know how you feel about this song. It's "Evaporate" for me personally.
no, that is not going on the bottom of the list.
Really? Okay.
And
Well,
I think that deserves to be the number 1 song.
oh wow. Okay.
I'm gonna
wow.
say that right now. I think that song deserves to be number 1, and I will
I
fight you
don't
to the death on
agree
that.
at all. But
This shit's
that's
about to
okay.
get heated, bro. Oh,
Wow. All right. Well, all right. So for the sake of time, let's say this, okay? Because we're all kind of talking about Flash and the Rattler here, and Brennan, you feel pretty passionate about the Rattler, and I like Flash, but it seems like the general consensus is that the Rattler is better than Flash.
yes.
Is what we're
Yeah,
deciding. So
yeah.
do we want to do bottom Son of Robot, then Flash, then Rattler?
I agree with that.
I'm not opposed.
Okay,
All right.
let's do it.
Let's
Just for the sake of
lock
time.
those in. Yeah, for the sake of time. Let's lock
Yeah.
those in because we have been dragging our feet a little bit.
We have.
Which I mean, it is tough to rank
There's a
these
lot-
though because it's
there's
so
a lot to discuss.
like
There
yeah.
is. There really is.
This just feels so much harder to rank than Afterburner. Especially since we've had so much more time with
Oh,
these
yeah.
songs that like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been stewing on this album for 2 years, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what do you guys think should we talk about next? What deserves to be up right ahead of the good old Rattler?
I think that I think the only songs that I personally could justify kind of putting at this bottom half of the list would be and I hate saying this because I like all these songs. It
Midnight
sounds
Crusade.
bad to say it. No, not Midnight Crusade.
Absolutely not.
I just have fatigue of that song from it being a single. That's my only gripe.
It's fair.
I
but
love it.
I think that
I'll
song
agree with
slaps.
putting
I
it.
enjoy it. I don't think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like deserving of like a number 1 spot or anything, but I definitely think it deserves to be higher than here.
I think
put
it's
it-
like top 5 song. I mentioned.
I'll put
that.
it, yeah, top 6, top 5. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you guys.
This is gonna piss Brennan off a lot.
Jesus.
So
Tyler.
like if we just blast past this because I have a wrong opinion, so be it. I'm just gonna throw it out because this is in my 3 songs that I think might fit in the bottom spot, and that's Bloodsucker. And I know that's gonna fucking trigger the hell out of you.
Tyler,
Also, I think
I'm gonna punch the fucking shit out of you.
Yep, you're gonna punch me through the
I
mic. I
see
can
you.
feel it. I could feel you breathing heavy on the mic right now. Also,
He's sweating. He's ready to
pissed.
go.
the other two would be Gospel Burnout or Hair Song.
That's
Those-
really interesting you say that, because those are my next three, like, going up the list, like, from
Really?
where we're at right now.
Well, I just can't justify any of those being better than the rest of the songs we have left.
I can 100% agree. That's exactly how I feel. Now, I will say, though, kind of like to Brennan's aid, Bloodsucker was one that I never really gave a lot of attention to until recently when I re-listened to this album. I was like, holy shit. This song is way better than I thought it was.
It's a
Like,
really, really good
is-
song.
it
Like,
really
it really
slaps.
is. Yeah.
I would like to pitch that Bloodsucker is the top of these three, if that's what we're going
I
with.
agree. I was kind of thinking that as well. I just wanted to say that one first to get the hate out there, because I
Yeah, no, it's okay too, but it's fine. I will say, though, that, like, these three songs are very interesting because Bloodsucker is just really balls to the wall and it feels such a good time. Hair Song is just hilarious. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It is just such a funny song that, like, it's just, I enjoy it. It's not one that I
Yeah.
always come to when I think of this album, but it's one that I'm just like, that's pretty nice. That's pretty
Yeah.
nice. But,
The-
and then Gospel Burnout is just so, I mean, like, personally, it's just kind of like a sweet spot for me because I really like that, the whole, like, I don't even know what it is, like, at the beginning there. Like 80s kind of, like, you're in,
yeah,
like,
it's kind of like
fucking, like,
it's
diner
almost like a
kinda-
surf rock vibe, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
It's really, I dig that vibe a lot, but I do think that Bloodsucker is probably the best of these three songs, like, objectively.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Brennan, how do you feel about Hair Song and freaking Gospel Burnout? 'Cause
Yeah.
we know you got a lot to say
I
about
totally
that.
agree with those picks. Those two. I think if I would put. This is tough.
Okay, then
Yeah.
all right, we'll come back to Bloodsucker. It'll stay near the, like, up above
Well,
these ones. Let's talk about
I'm
Hair Song and
saying-
Gospel Burnout then.
I think Bloodsucker is the best of the three, but then I also think Bloodsucker is better than Slouch.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll chat about that.
Yeah,
Let's do Hair
we'll
Song
get
and
to that
Gospel
later.
Burnout.
But I guess right now the debate is just like I think we've decided that Hair Song and Gospel Burnout are gonna take these next two spots. We just have to decide on the order.
And then we'll come to Bloodsucker and Slouch.
Yeah, like which one would be better? Which one do you guys think is better, Gospel Burnout or Hair Song?
It's really close for me, dude.
I-
I don't know.
I personally think that Gospel Burnout is better, so I'm gonna give my 2 cents on both these songs right now. But I think Hair Song is just really fucking fun. Like, it is definitely the fuck around song of the album. It's kind of like I've said this to Brennan a lot, but I think that Hair Song is Petting Zoo Justice if it was good.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the most accurate way of describing Hair Song. It's really fun. It has a lot of fuck around John Mess lyrics.
It doesn't have fucking
And I think-
kangaroos breaking their dick in half.
Yeah, which is a shame because those are probably arguably the best John Mess lyrics ever. But
Oh, they're
I
incredible.
think, like, I appreciate a lot of things about Hair Song. Like, it's another one of these songs that features just like a really dynamic transition from just really aggressive and upbeat into like kind of like a somber and light vocal section, and then it like builds back up and it just kind of takes you on this like emotional roller coaster kind of in certain parts of the song. And I really love when songs do that. It's awesome. But I think Gospel Burnout is just a little bit better. It's more because like Gospel Burnout in general just kind of hits a different vibe overall. It's a much more somber song just in general, which I think just makes it stand out a lot because it's just so unique. And the way that they kind of like they have like the layered chorus where it has like the cut up clean vocals underneath the John Mess part is just like such a cool way of mixing that. And I just like really appreciate how they did that. And I think that just like it has like good lyrics too. I think it has like probably more meaningful lyrics than Hair Song for what it's worth. So yeah, that's my thought process on those songs.
Yeah, I feel like you did really say everything I feel about those songs. I think that honestly, I don't know. because like it is really close. It is really close. But I guess I would probably put my vote to probably Gospel Burnout being ahead of Hair Song. You honestly started to sell me on how good Hair Song was when you were describing it first. So I was like, well, maybe. And then you started talking about Gospel Burnout. I was like, well, maybe. And I was like, it's so close. It's fucking difficult. I also just love the fact that it's called Hair Song. Like,
yeah,
just the name alone
it's delightful.
sells me. I was like, oh, like when I saw it on the album when I first listened to it, I was like, what's Hair Song? It's just about hair? Yeah, it is actually. So I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I don't think it is like the highest quality song on the album, because like obviously like they hit more serious tones than some other songs that like just really strike me, and that at the end of the day that's probably gonna win me overall. So I will say that Gospel Burnout will, for me personally, ranks higher.
Okay. Well, I think that we've already outvoted Brennan if he disagrees, but Brennan, let's hear your thoughts on this.
I agree. Hair Song, like you said, it is Petting Zoo Justice done right. I think like the central part, like where the song kind of slows down and Tillian just completely takes over, is incredible. But Gospel Burnout's better.
Yeah.
The Tillian part, like right after the first chorus, where he just starts singing, like, oh my dude, it just fucking pierces me, dude.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, Hair Song and then Gospel Burnout for Shizzle.
And I guess the next argument is between Bloodsucker and Slouch.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's what it sounds like.
Unless there's like something else, because I like Slouch a lot. I literally in my notes, my first sentence is, "There's honestly nothing to dislike about this song."
Yeah, no, and I agree with it.
I completely agree with that. I just think Bloodsucker's better.
I just don't know if I feel that way personally. I would need to hear the argument, I guess.
Now, I guess I'm going to actually make an argument against Bloodsucker, but Bloodsucker kind of follows more of like a traditional like song structure. Like that's my argument against Bloodsucker. Like, not that Slouch like just breaks the walls off the house or whatever, but like just like the flow of the song is like way more like, I guess, like roller coastery than Bloodsucker. But just some of like just how like Bloodsucker sound, like to me, like I'll put Bloodsucker like towards the top of this album if you made me make the list, but like then again,
I feel you. I'd put Son of Robot and Flash in like mid to a little bit higher. So I mean, it's fine. We're all having issues today.
Yeah. None of us are happy. I mean,
this is a Clash of the Titans, bro.
This is basically like ranking your children. Like this is not like a thing that is good for anybody when we have to rank good songs.
Yeah, if I pumped out 14 kids and you made me pick them, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just told little Timmy, who I thought was number 6, to get back on the bottom of the line, so it's fine. It's fine.
So, because, like, I mean, granted, this is just my opinion, but, like, I think Bloodsucker's better than Count Basie and Midnight Crusade.
I don't agree with that.
I just don't agree with that personally, but
I
can understand the argument.
But then again, that's just, like, I'm not shallow enough to be like, oh, hey, like, because honestly, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. That's all any of this is. It's just,
for sure.
It's all opinions.
Like I'm having a tough time. Like, I was just thinking Bloodsucker's better than Slouch, but then, like, you know, the more I'm, like, listening to Slouch in my head, I'm like, yeah, but Slouch is fucking wilder, though.
Yeah, because that's my thing with Slouch is, like, I don't know, it's really catchy, and it's got a lot of nice grooves, and I think it just has, like, a really, like, even blend of the John Mess to Tillian ratio. And then there's, like, the part where it, like, drops down to just the guitar, and then it builds back up with, like, the kind of gang chant, and then it, like, leads into the John Mess Scream Fest, and that's, like, how they kind of end the song, and I just think it's, like, a really cool way of, I don't know. I enjoy that song. I'm not saying that it necessarily needs to be above Bloodsucker or above any of these other things. That's just my 2 cents.
See, I think the ending breakdown for Slouch is, like, one of the best on the album.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, wherever it's, like, a gang chant, like, oh, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, it hits. Like, oh my gosh, like that, like, I would throw the fuck down to that.
Right, dude, if they played that shit live, I'd break my kneecaps. Like,
I mean, I guess my only argument for Bloodsucker is I think the choruses are better.
I can kind of agree with that, I guess.
Like I don't know. I just like listening to Tillian. Like he like for Slouch. Like he like. Not that he does this a lot, and I mean you can even argue like he doesn't conform to anything, but like Slouch, it seems like he's like going with the flow of the song more, while like with Bloodsucker for me he's like taking off more.
Yeah, that's
if
fair.
I were to like try to put that into words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I also like the fact that Bloodsucker has kind of like a drop down like bridge part too.
Yeah,
because that part hits really hard. So I I mean, the more I think about it, I guess I can justify putting Slouch underneath Bloodsucker.
Well, I tell you what, I think Bloodsucker should be ahead of Slouch. So if that breaks the tie and pushes us even further,
let's do it.
Go for it.
All right. Well,
I did originally think Slouch was a little bit better, but if I'm being honest with you, we were talking about these arguments. I tossed an earbud in. And I listened to both of them, and I listened to little bits of them, and I was like, "Damn, I really have to like figure this one out because I don't know." Because it sounded like you guys were on opposite sides of it. I was like, "Do I have to break this tie? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about this." I think I like Bloodsucker more. I think it really just hits so good. I think it strikes me a little bit better than Slouch.
Yes, you finally get me.
It's not that I ever disagreed with you. Like I've always thought that Bloodsucker was a good song. I just never liked it quite as much as you did.
Oh, dude. Well, hey, I mean, like we said, it's difference of opinion. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's put Slouch and then Bloodsucker.
I'll
agree to that.
Let's do that. Okay, so let's do a run through. I think we're about halfway through now. So let's do a run through of what we got so far. So in the bottom spot, I don't know the number because I didn't count, but
14,
at the bottom.
14.
Okay, so at 13, 14. We have Son of Robot. Oh, sorry, was it 14?
Yeah, 14.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. Some assholes like blasting a siren outside of my fucking window.
They're so excited about us talking about Dance Gavin Dance.
I know. It's like, woo! DGD!
Yes!
So 14, we got Son of Robot. 13, we got Flash. 12, we got The Rattler. 11, we have Hair Song. 10, we have Gospel Burnout. And 9, we have Slouch. And I guess 8 is Bloodsucker?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Pretty sure.
Okay, so the songs we have left, in the order that they appear. Midnight Crusade, Suspended in This Disaster, Care, Count Basie, Shelf Life, Story of My Bros, Evaporate. And I'm just going to say right now, Evaporate is not in contention for the next spot.
That's fine. All right.
Can't argue that.
I won't say it. Well, you know what I'll say then?
Okay.
Suspended in This Disaster is not in contention for this next spot.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Brendan, do you have a song that is not in contention? Let's just start eliminating other songs. Maybe that's what we have to do. Do we have any other songs that we really feel like can't? Like, what's the... All right. Let's... I like this idea. Brendan, tell me your next song that you don't think is in contention for the spot, and we'll see what we have left.
So we have Evaporate and Suspended in This Disaster.
Yep.
Yes, they have been saved.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of Midnight Crusade. I'm not the biggest fan of Count Basie.
Okay.
I really like Care, but...
But which one you saving, boy? Which one you saving?
Story of My Bros.
Fuck yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That was my next pick, so... that's
Story of My Bros.
Honestly, as much as it fucking pains me to say this, like, it fucking cuts at my soul to say this, but I think the next spot's going to be between Shelf Life and Count Basie.
Okay.
Ooh.
Is where my mind is going right now.
I'm okay with this.
Because I don't... it's not Care. It's not Care. It's not Suspended in This Disaster or any of the other ones that we saved. So I think just like of the 4 that we have left that we did not save, being Midnight Crusade, Care, Count Basie, Shelf Life, objectively, Care is the best one of those 4. So I
agree.
I'm just saying that's not even happening right now.
Okay. So you're saving Care is what your turn is. Right?
Yes, I'm throwing a second save into the ring, and it's Care.
We'll just keep going. We'll keep going.
We all agree with that.
Going with the saves. I'm gonna save Count Basie.
Okay.
So that leaves us with Midnight Crusade and Shelf Life, right?
Brennan is gonna axe the fuck out of Midnight Crusade right now.
Oh yeah, I'm picking Shelf Life all day, bro.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not gonna argue with it because I like everything at this point. So if you want to put Midnight Crusade in the next spot, then I will allow it.
I'm perfectly down with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with this. This is like
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine.
Midnight Crusade is just above like the middle of my pack personally, so I'm this feels kind of right. This feels like it's in a good place. I will say though, do we want to put Shelf Life next?
Count Basie.
Ooh.
I don't
Okay,
agree.
now we're having the argument. I personally don't know. I think that it's so fucking tough.
That's interesting because I think Count Basie should be like above Shelf Life.
Of course, I have to be the fucking tiebreaker, and I have no fucking
Yeah,
clue what
you
to
do.
do.
I think you do. All right.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
All right.
Did I?
All right, above Shelf Life, yes. I will agree with that.
Wait, what?
Wait, so we both think Count Basie is above Shelf Life?
So,
you both think that?
so we're at what, number 6?
Probably.
6 now? Yeah, I think it's 6. I'm pretty sure it's 6. Yeah, because 7 was Midnight Crusade.
I'm gonna say Shelf Life 6, Count Basie 5.
I like that a lot.
Now,
I like it.
my argument against Count Basie, I love it. I don't necessarily, like, for me, this is my opinion. I don't think it's top 5, but then I can't possibly justify putting Shelf Life above it.
Interesting.
I just, like, yeah, it has, like, a somber tone, and, like, you know, Tillian kind of does this thing throughout the song. The end breakdown, I mean, it's not really, like, a breakdown, but, like the end portion of the song is what makes it.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, that's exactly why
that was the
gonna
one
say.
point I was going to make, like, in defense of Count Basie was the
Although,
ending.
for whatever reason, I absolutely dislike when the music cuts out and they're just, like, singing.
Oh, I love that.
Like, I don't know what it is, but like as soon as the music ends, I instantly just skip to the next song. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it.
It's okay. You just don't have a soul, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you just don't want to be a part of the team.
Like,
it's
to
fine.
me, it's just not. It's like, to me, it's just not musically, like. Now, the fact that I have to do that to any part of the song, like, automatically just, like, plummets it towards the bottom for me. But then, like I said, like, the ending breakdown, like, whenever, like, you know, all of a sudden it's just a snare hit and then boom, it's like a totally different song. Like, that part's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because the fact that, like, John Mess isn't really prominent in the entire song just makes it, like, hit even harder when it just kind of ends with him, like, just, like, coming in and tearing shit up for a bit. And then, like, they add the clean vocals in behind it and just gets, like, the depth gets, like, maximized, and then they just kind of slowly start pulling stuff out, and I just think that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
They just, like, they build it up and then just tear it back down, and I just love that. And that's why I like the just singing part. I think it's the exclamation point at the end of the sentence that is Count Basie.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
100% agree.
I agree with that, but, like, I just don't like it. It doesn't do it for me.
That's fair. I mean, it's already... I agree
It's already
with
number 5.
putting it over Shelf Life, so I think...
Because I can't put an interlude over Count Basie.
Yeah, that's honestly that's fair.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I can't really, as much as I like Count Basie, I can't put it over any of the last 4 songs, objectively speaking. So, I guess we'll lock those in then.
I'm down with that.
So Shelf Life will be 6, and Count Basie will be 5.
I love how we're fleshing this out. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Our system has really improved, I think.
Oh yeah, I think we're getting better. So we are down to the final 4 songs,
Damn.
which are Suspended in This Disaster, Care, Story of My Bros, and Evaporate. Now,
That's a fucking who's who, bro.
I know all 4 of these songs. I mean, every song on this album could theoretically be in a number 1 spot on another list, and it's perfectly justified. But I think that these 4 songs in particular are all just god tier, so this is going to be tough.
I tell you what, all right, boys.
Uh-oh.
3 of these songs are my top 3 favorite songs on this album.
Which
The other one
is
was near the bottom of my list, and it was
Which
Evaporate.
was Evaporate,
personally.
and you're just
Yes.
wrong, and I'm sorry that you're wrong,
okay.
but it's...
Now, Tyler, you don't have to get aggressive. It's fine. I was just gonna politely ask. I was gonna politely ask, Tyler. I want to hear your pitch for Evaporate.
Okay. Okay,
like-
I will,
I'd like
I
to
will
hear.
gladly give it to you, man.
Thank you. I'd like to.
Evaporate is a fucking, like, spiritual experience. Like, Evaporate is arguably one of the best songs, I think, objectively, that DGD has ever written. Like, the riffs are incredible. The lyrics are really good. Idola Guy vocal features throughout like the chorus, and he has like another vocal feature in it, and his voice is just sexy as hell, and it's so good. And then this is the part that puts it over the edge. The ending of the song, where it's a medley of just a ton of old school DGD lyrics. I remember the first time that this hit my fucking eardrums when I was listening to this album the first time, the day it dropped. And it, like, I have never been that, like, taken aback and, like, moved by a song in that way. Like, when that hit me, I was, like, low-key, like, freaking out. I was like, no fucking way! Like, this shit is incredible. Like, it felt like, you know, like, if DGD is an actual cult, then that song was taking me to church, you know? Like, it was just... just the amount of, like, fucking dopamine shooting through my brain during that part is just uncontested for anything that they've ever done in, like, the history of their career. And that is why I think Evaporate is the best song on the album.
See, Tyler won't get violent about this, but I fucking will.
Oh, interesting.
Kyle.
Right.
Evaporate. Evaporate, to me, is one of the greatest album ending songs of all time.
Yes! Thank you, Brennan!
The fact that, you know, like not even just saying like the actual ending of the song. I'll get to that in a minute. How it kicks off. Like, oh my gosh, it's just, at first it kicks off, it's like a fucking like heavy song, and you're thinking like, damn, like we're going straight to hell. and then all of a sudden, boom, tone shift, Tillian, fucking just groovy guitar work in the background. All right, all of a sudden like the song starts getting some traction. Boom, Idola Guy, Andrew Wells, shout out, you're fucking sick. You know, his vocal feature, and then like a chorus, getting into some John Mess. Oh, dude, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, I heard it 3 times a day. I'm like, dude, this song is amazing. And then, like, the final like chorus, like whenever like the song finally like breaks down for the last time, and all of a sudden it's just Tillian just kind of like singing by himself, like just a little bit of accent guitar in the background. You know, nothing too fucking wild. You know, he's singing. He's like, I'm fucking cellophane. Like, I ain't shit. And then, like, all of a sudden, you get, like, just this medley, like Tyler said. It's just throwback upon throwback upon throwback, just paying so much fucking homage to all of the old school Dance Gavin Dance songs. Like, all the old shit. Like, you got some Kurt shit. You got Johnny Craig. You got, you know, old school Tillian shit. Like, there's just... It's just this massive ball of, like, finality. And, like, a lot, like, honestly, like, I didn't think they were going to do this. But, like, I just remember thinking, like, the first time I heard this, I'm like, wow, if they are ever going to break up, that's the song to do it on.
That is the exact thought that went through my brain. I was like, is this the last song that they're ever writing?
Yeah, like it went through my mind. Now, of course, like I'm thinking, like, there's no fucking way. Like they seem like they're just oozing full of shit, you know, oozing full of new material. Like Afterburner is obviously the example of that. But like, you know, it's just like, are we gonna get like an announcement tomorrow? Like, are they no longer a band? Like it's like there's just so much like weight to it, and I don't feel that listening to any of these other songs on the album. Like, yeah. It gets close. It gets very close. And the fact that, you know, I've seen some of these songs live, like puts it even more so there.
Sure.
But, like, Evaporate, man, it's this whole new level. And like I said, there's just, like, this, like, extreme sense of finality to it. Like, I think it's one of the best album enders ever.
I agree. Like, DGD or otherwise, I think that's, like, it is, like, the most perfect ending to an album ever. And, yeah. Like, I just, like, it's honestly, like, a good series finale for, like, a TV show you've been watching for, like, 10 years, right? Like, yeah. It's just, I don't know. That song is just, it hits me on such an emotional level compared to any other song on this album. And I think honestly, like, that song is it's like the exclamation point in the end of the album. Like, it is what completely sold me into thinking that, like, after, like, Artificial Selection is the best work that DGD ever put out as of that time. So that, Kyle, is why you're fucking wrong.
I am sorry that I just beat up your ear like forever, but I am passionate about that shit.
I am also. I'm glad we're on the same page, Brennan, because I was gonna feel really bad if I was the only person, like, advocating for that song to be, like, number one ? But
I remember the first time I ever heard that song. Like, I put my phone down, I took my headset off, and I just laid there, and I was like, "This is fucking it."
Well, boys, I really did enjoy your argument, and I think it. No, it's not a bad. This isn't a bad.
I was about to say, where's the counterpunch coming from? I want to hear this.
Well, it's not much of a counterpunch as it is like coming to a middle ground. I think because you mentioned punching my ear, and ironically, I took one of, like, the side of my headset off. I put the earbud back into my other ear while you punched me in one ear, and I listened to Evaporate in my other ear over and over again while you guys were talking about it. Because I was like, I have to experience this fully. I had to hear about what you guys think about this album, or about this song. I had to hear this song again. I got to really feel it again. And my initial thoughts for this song were, I think instrumentally, it's awesome. Update from last review we did, I've listened to more of Idola Guy. I like Idola Guy. He's pretty cool. And I think he is phenomenal on this track. The thing where we differ, that I think didn't push this song, I do think I underrated it. I definitely agree that I underrated it. I think that the difference that we have in this song, though, is that I really think the ending of that song is cool. And I do agree that it is a really great album ender. But I don't think that them pulling lyrics from other stuff pushes it ahead of a specific song on this album. And that song is Suspended in This Disaster.
I will say, I think Suspended in This Disaster is my favorite song on the album. But if we were doing an objective ranking, I cannot bring myself to put that song over Evaporate at all.
See, on both scales, I think Suspended in This Disaster is better than Evaporate. I think overall Suspended in This Disaster is an incredibly well, like instrumentally, technically, it is so good. There's so many great moments in it. It slaps so hard. Fucking Tillion's vocals are impressive, and they kind of, like, just flip around through the air like it's fucking effortless. I remember the first time I heard Suspended in This Disaster, and I was like, this is one of my favorite DGD songs. For sure. And that still has not changed to this day. What I will say is that Evaporate is incredibly well done technically. However, I don't think that them... Because, like, I really enjoyed the fact that they pulled lyrics. And when the album ended, the first time I listened to it, I was like, that was a dope way to end that album. I really liked that. That really felt like it kind of, like, put the other end on the whole package. And that's really awesome. And I think they did a really good job with that. And I can appreciate it being near the top now. I think I've come around to that. I appreciate that. However, I don't think it is the number one song on this, is what I'll say. Brendan, I'd like to hear what you think about Suspended in This Disaster. Because it does sound like, from what Tyler's saying, is that Suspended in This Disaster and Evaporate are the top two right now.
Well, I didn't say that.
Well, you just said Suspended in This Disaster was your favorite
song. What
I
said is that Suspended in This Disaster is my personal favorite song. But objectively, I think Suspended in This Disaster should be 3.
Ooh, interesting.
Here's one thing. I think Story of My Bro should take number 4. Can we all agree on that?
I don't agree, actually.
Okay.
But
I think Kare should.
I think Kare
really,
should
because I think Kare should be 2.
I think Kare should be 4. I think.
Wow, we are all just fucking in disarray now.
Well, Brennan, you think Kare should be 4 too, as well, right?
I knew it was gonna be a fist fight at this point.
Oh yeah, we're getting into it now. So, Brennan, you think Kare should be 4, is what you're saying? Like, if looking at these 4 and, like, having to pick one to toss back in the 4th seat, is because you started to say it. You were saying a little bit something about
it. No, I did, but
and it's difficult because personally, it's really hard for me to say. If I mean, okay, Care, because like we little look behind the curtain. We have been talking about doing a top 10 favorite DGD songs.
Yes.
In the future as one of our podcasts, and I went through the albums and I started narrowing down songs that I like knew couldn't make it in and that could make it in. And Care was the last song that I picked from this album to make it in of 3 songs, which are also fucking Suspended This Disaster and Story of My Bros. If I'm being completely honest with you, Evaporate didn't make it in. I do think it's a great song. I've come around to it more, but I don't think it makes it on my personal top 10. However, Care, I think, is the weakest of the 3, and that's really hard for me to say, because I really like Care. I really, really like Care. But I do think that it doesn't bring as much to the table as Story of My Bros or Suspended This Disaster does, in my opinion.
I disagree. And this is, okay, here's the thing. I'm arguing for a song that is not even going to be in my top 10 DGD songs, okay? Like, Care is not in my top 10 DGD songs, because Suspended This Disaster probably maybe will be, right? But, like, Care won't. But objectively, I think Care is a better song than Suspended This Disaster. Just because I think Care just kind of offers more. I think it stands out a lot more. It has more meaningful lyrics, I would say. I really like the tone. I like how it's this very like it's not really like somber, but like the tone at the beginning is very different, and it kind of builds up when it gets into the chorus and gets more aggressive, and then drops back down, and then it takes you on the roller coaster ride that I enjoy going on when I listen to some DGD songs. And the main point being that this is really the only real legit disco sex jam trademark that is in this album, and I feel it feels wrong to have that like in the 4th spot just because like the ending of this song is so dope, dude. Like I think that Suspended in This Disaster is a really good song, and I personally like it better because it is a jam. But I think Care is an experience, and I think it is just objectively a better song. I think it has a lot more to offer. I think there's a lot more that you could say about Care and what it brings to the table than Suspended This Disaster.
I respectfully disagree. I think that Suspended This Disaster is such a perfect song to represent so much of Dance Gavin Dance. However, I do understand that there is not a disco sex jam, and that is unfortunate. And I do like that point. That's a very good point in the other direction. However, it does not sway me enough to push me away from Suspended This Disaster. I think Suspended This Disaster is one of their better like instrumental tracks on the album overall. I would say it's their best instrumental track overall on this album. I think that instrumentally it's just phenomenal. Some of the shit that Will Swan and them pull off is just actually melts my brain. It's fantastic. I think that vocally it is so effortless in the chorus for Tillian, and it's one of those because like whenever I first heard Dance Gavin Dance, it was We Own the Night, obviously. That's most people's first song, and if it wasn't your first song, you're fucking wrong. It's fine. But the first thing that caught me was that Tillian's voice, because like I'm a singer. I went to college for a short time as a vocalist, and I still sing a lot with a lot of professional groups, and So I've always that was the initial thing that pulled me into this group was Tillian, because his voice is phenomenal. I mean, we can all agree that. In this time of disdain, we can agree that Tillian is phenomenal.
We can take solace in Tillian's milky vocal cords
while we have unrest in the cast.
Absolutely. Suspended This Disaster, his vocals. When I heard them, it put me back in that same vibe that I got from his vocals on We Own the Night. And that, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it just like the effortlessness of the way he just maneuvers through this song is just a masterpiece to me. I think the biggest thing that pushes me over the edge with the song is that Tillian's vocals in this impress me so much more than a lot of other songs. And that's hard to say because he always impresses me with his vocals. which is why I think it should be the number one song on our list.
I will. I don't know, Brennan.
Let's say, can I throw my hat in the
Throw your
ring?
hat in the
Go for
ring,
it, go
yeah.
for it.
All right. So when Suspended in This Disaster first hit my ear holes, I actually didn't like the chorus.
Interesting.
Wow.
Because, like, I thought, like... Now, granted, it is very much so grown on me at this point. But I remember, like hearing him, like, repeat, you know, like, the one word or whatever. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it.
Disaster. Yeah.
But, yeah.
That is the word.
Well, no, he's like, how long do I got to make this right?
Oh, I got
Yeah.
you. I thought you meant, like, when he would...
Yeah, dumbass.
Yeah, do I got to wait?
I thought that's what you were talking about. But okay.
No, like...
The little melisma.
Like that part, like where he like literally like repeated like, you know, a couple words or whatever. Like I didn't like it, but then like it dawned on me that like, okay, well if he didn't do that, then like the flow of the song would be all jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're right, he does like effortlessly move through like all of like these crazy notes. And then today I was like re-listening to it, and like during the part where like John Mess is screaming, the guitar work in the background's fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just Will Swan and his magicness. And then of course, like, you know, I imagine he probably writes both guitar parts, but like both guitars are just fucking shredding. It's just like, oh my gosh, like so much is going on. Mm-hmm. So like I get where Kyle's coming from. All right.
I'm not ready for this next bit of this what you're about to spill. I feel,
kinda,
but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm in for the ride.
I'm just gonna kind of give a quick little synopsis of each song. So that's my synopsis of Suspended in This Disaster.
All right.
I think it's impeccable. Like just the instrumental work on it is just insane.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, like that puts it up obviously up the upper echelon. And of course, Tillian just kills it. You know, with his range. You know, he probably has the best range of like any singer I've ever heard. But now, Kare was one of the singles that came out. And of course, yeah, there's a funky sex jam in it. You know, it's like the Inspire the Liars and Young Robot of this album, per se.
Fuck yes.
You know, and then like Strawberry's Wake does this on Afterburner and so on and so forth. But to me, that is like the rest of the song is good. I love singing it. But to me, like, the major redeeming quality is that sexual, you know, disco sex jam. And, like, that's it for me, kind of. Like, as far as that song goes. It's amazing. I love singing to it. I just, like, to me, like, that one part of the song makes it. And then we get to Story of My Bros. From top to bottom, I don't think there's absolutely anything I could dislike about the song.
Absolutely.
I can agree with that, yeah.
It's another one, and I'm not saying that I dislike anything about Kare. I just think that the one part of the song is the song. You know, like granted, like he sings, oh shit, you know, but like I said, I like singing along to it. But there's just one piece that's like, okay, like this is Kare, like this is what I picked this song in my Spotify for, is this part right here. Story of My Bros. They even did a acoustic version of it, and it still even slaps then.
Oh yeah.
But I really like the acoustic version of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's really
yeah,
good.
and like the guitar, like once again, the guitar is in the background. Will Swan, the dude's hair is on fucking fire, and he's just, you know, shredding. He's hitting every fret. Like it's just murdering this poor guitar, but of course bringing me blissful music in the process of him doing so. So that's why, for me, Kare needs to be number 4.
Fine. For the sake of time, I will concede.
I went off on that, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
I took a lot of time.
The reality is, I think that all 4 of these songs are immaculate, so I can't really be too upset with the placement. So, I mean, if you both agree that Kare should be 4, then I guess Kare should be 4.
Oh, I'm nitpicking as fuck on that one.
Oh yeah. We're at a point now where like these songs, like we mentioned it a little bit before, but like these 4 songs all have such like there is nothing wrong with them. It is personal preference at this point. It is like straight up, like there is no weak point. It is just some of us like more of it than the others. Like how I don't think the ending of Evaporate puts it in the front, or how Brennan doesn't think the beginning part of Care lifts it to like compete with the others. Like it is solely just personal preference at this point. Don't hate us. It's fine. Everything will be fine. Just tell us what you like later. It'll be fine.
And that's the thing. Like the rest of Care is absolutely beautiful. It's just, you know, it's like I'm going to like Texas Roadhouse. I come to Texas Roadhouse. Listen to me. Listen to me here. Listen to me here. I go to a steakhouse for the steak. I listen to Care for the disco sex jam.
I just don't. Wow.
I
mean, that's a dope metaphor. I just don't. I listen to Care for the whole thing personally. I just think the disco sex jam is the best part of it. I like all of it though.
Yeah.
I mean, I
don't specifically listen to Care just for the disco sex jam. I'm just happy it's there.
See, I like all of it, but I just think from top to bottom, Story My Bros and Suspended in This Disaster are better songs. Like I like the buns with the butter. You know, I like the peanuts. You know, but when I'm going to a steakhouse, I'm going for the damn steak. And that's pretty much how I feel about Care.
It's fair.
Care or the peanuts in Texas. Which are great peanuts. I mean, come on.
No, they have those rolls with like the cinnamon butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, rolls are. Oh man, we're going off on a tangent now.
Yeah.
We can't be doing.
You're gonna rank Texas
I
Roadhouse.
could have an entire podcast about the fucking rolls from Texas Roadhouse, but I mean.
If you want
to
hear
save
us
it
talk
for another
about
time.
Texas Roadhouse, like and comment and subscribe.
Okay, so Care is number 4.
Yes.
So Story My Bros, I guess, is the one we haven't talked about in depth as much. And I agree. I think Story My Bros is like, there's nothing really wrong with it. You know, there's a lot to like, and there's nothing to dislike. You know.
And then the part where he's like. Where, like, in the background, like, the guitar is just strumming along, and Tillian's just, like, he's just singing, like, he's not really singing words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to me...
Yeah.
To me,
it layers the second time, and it gets even better. Yeah, it's a pretty great song. Where are we putting it, boys?
2.
I can put it as high as 2.
See, for me... Oh, dude, this is so tough.
I know. It's like I feel like these last 4 songs have taken us like half this fucking podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely, and deservedly so. These songs.
Oh my god, dude. Because the way I see it, my ranking of these last 3: Evaporate is 1, Story of My Bros is 2, Suspended is 3.
I am completely in agreement with that.
I'm not, but
fuck boy.
It seems as if I'm outvoted.
Well, let me hear the argument.
I think he's already given us the argument for why.
Yeah,
he
I've
like
pretty much given you the argument for everything. Well, I
think it really just comes down to he is wrong about Evaporate, and that's okay.
I like Evaporate.
No, I know you like Evaporate. You just don't like it as much as us, and that's okay. But I think that.
Well, no, I just want to hear like in your mind why is Suspended in This Disaster better than Story of My Bros?
So Story of My Bros and Suspended in This Disaster are my 2 favorite songs in this album. Care is my number 3. Story of My Bros 2, and Suspended in This Disaster is my number 1. It's very close for those 2 though. So like if we do decide to put Story of My Bros over Suspended in This Disaster, I think it's like very, very tough. Story of My Bros, man, it just gives me like this like feel like camaraderie. Like it's so beautiful. It has like Tillian layers his voice so beautifully, like so many times in that, like it's just and then at the end he did, like you were saying, he's like the and shit at the end where the fucking guitar's going off and shit, and then the second time it happens, it's his voice layered up an octave. I'm like, gee, it just keeps going. Where does his voice end? And I'm like, it's so good, fucking love it. And I just like, man, those 2 songs are the 2 that jumped out at me initially when I listened to this album. They're 2 songs I still come back to on this album the most. Hands down. But I think, we've been talking about this for a while. I think that I have given my arguments, so the general public listens to this knows that I think that personally Story of My Bros and Suspended in This Disaster are better than Evaporate. However, I can respect that I'm outvoted. I can respect that Evaporate's a very good song. And I think it places a lot higher now that I've listened to it more, I've heard your arguments. I appreciate the song more than I did originally. I think that it is not as good as you're saying. However, I think that the conclusion we need to make here, to not go at each other's throats through the fucking Skype call that we're in right now, I think we're going to have to make the decision that it goes Evaporate. And then if you like Story of My Bros and then Suspend This Disaster, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, also another thing that Story of My Bros has over Suspend This Disaster, it has the lyric, I'm smoking weed out of a pussy filled with money. So, I mean...
That's a good point. You know what? Honestly, yeah. That's just ship it. It's done.
Yes.
I think I personally think Suspend This Disaster is my like favorite song. But I do think Story of My Bros probably brings a little bit more to the table. That's why it hurts me that you're not really defending Suspending This Disaster at all. You're like, I love that.
We're
It's my
making
favorite
an
song.
objective
However,
ranking, and I think that even though I personally like Suspend This Disaster because it's a jam, I just can't justify putting it above those other songs because I think just objectively those songs have more to offer.
it's our objectiveness that we're talking about.
No, it's our subjectiveness that we're talking about. Objectively.
Story
That's
My
what I was
Bros is
talking
better.
about.
This disaster. I would probably choose to listen to Suspended This Disaster over both of those songs if I were to just pick one to spontaneously listen to. But I'm trying to be the voice of the people. I'm trying to like put my like personal emotional attachment to songs aside to a certain degree.
Then what even are we here for? Like, if we're just gonna be like,
just
I like
trying
this
to
song
make
the
it
most.
clear.
However, like,
No. What we have come here to do is to collectively, the three of us, put our heads together and put some sort of ranking to all of these songs, which is damn near impossible, mind
absolutely.
you.
So what else do we have to go off of than what we feel in our hearts? And I think
Truth.
Tyler's heart.
We
is
have to go
screaming
off
Suspend
of the
This
truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes the truth is hard,
See,
but the
speak the
truth,
truth,
is
Tyler.
that Evaporate is the best song on the album.
Tyler, his argument is somewhat sound. He just doesn't really know how to say it.
Much like everything in life, I know what I'm talking about. I'm just bad at communicating it.
Kyle is right that the three of us are subjectively bringing our opinions to the 14 songs presented before us.
Yeah.
Tyler is right in the fact that we have to look at these songs objectively, regardless of, our emotional ties to the songs, and somehow put a ranking to all these fuckers.
It's
Like,
an
to me-
impossible task.
Yeah, like to me, I almost got in a fist fight over Bloodsucker.
Right, which I knew you would, which is why I was scared to even bring it up, trying to rank it that low.
And that's the thing, like, I love that song. Like I said, if you gave me this list, it'd be top 4. But, I'm going to put my feelings aside because I know that you guys, and probably the populace, have a good idea that it's really not at the top.
All right, hang on a second. All right, can we do a little audible here for a second? Because you're talking about Bloodsucker again, and you know what? We put it below Midnight Crusade.
And that was the argument I originally had, but I realized I was outnumbered by you guys.
Well, you know what? I think it's
Are you
better
saying
than
that-
Midnight Crusade.
Okay.
That, like I said, that was
not gonna
originally
argue with that.
That was
I mean-
originally my argument, but
I mean, I personally think it's also better than Shelf Life, but I know that that's not the popular opinion, at least for Tyler.
I mean, if you both want to vote to move Bloodsucker up over Shelf Life, I'm not gonna argue with you.
If I'm being
Kyle?
honest, I think it's better. I'm just fully like, cause like this is that like cause like when we were talking about Afterburner, Parody Catharsis was that one that like when originally I was like and it boosted up to my number fucking 2. This one, a Bloodsucker is like flying, dude.
Kyle,
I just like to
love
point
this song.
out that we have been going at this for about an hour and a half, and we do already have
absolutely.
these locked in. So I mean, if you want to go back and retread ground that we've already put in place, that's fine.
We have to pluck it and move it up a little because I don't
Look.
think we gave it its justice.
That's fine.
Listen.
I'm fine with that if you want to
listen
do
to me
that.
for 1 second.
All right.
Kyle, I am absolutely thrilled that you have come to the dark side and you have embraced the power of Bloodsucker.
slaps, dude.
A
It
song,
slaps so
a song
hard.
that Tyler, I thought you were on Tyler's side. Tyler's a little fucker for this. He brought this song
okay.
up thinking it was towards the bottom of the list, and I firmly disagree with that
I
shit.
have come full circle in this song, dude.
Bloodsucker needs to be above Shelf Life and above Midnight Crusade. Make it happen, Tyler.
Let's
I
fucking
already
do it.
did.
Can
Jesus
we do
Christ.
Make the fucking call, right?
I guess I can't cut this entire tangent out of the final cut of this podcast like I was planning on because now we made changes to the fucking lineup. So now I have to keep all this in so people are
keep
gonna be
it
like,
all
oh, why
in
are they
and people are
talking
gonna
for an hour
fucking
and a half?
enjoy it.
Man, make
Okay.
your fucking point, get on with it. But it's like, well, I
It has-
would have cut it up a little bit for the sake of time. But, we're here now. Now we're just going back and just changing everything we said. So,
I don't give a fuck.
While we're at it, why don't we just move Son of Robot up to number 3? Why not? Why don't we
Sounds
just fucking
great,
change
all right?
everything?
Let's fucking do it. And these people, whoever's listening to it, fuck you. We're talking about our songs that we like, okay? If you think Bloodsucker should be lower, fuck you. Tell me why in the comments, okay?
Wow.
I couldn't have said it better.
I'd like to point out that we were very, very civil in the first attempt
Yeah,
at
we
ranking
were.
songs when we did Afterburner. I was actually impressed at how professional we ended up making the entire
Fuck
thing
it all,
sound.
dude. It doesn't matter
But lo and
anymore.
behold, we try it one more time, and we're just back to like fucking roasting the shit out of each other and getting angry at the world.
Absolutely.
I knew
Tyler?
it wouldn't last. It's mostly my fault, but I just.
You keep
Tyler.
talking about how Spend the Disaster is your favorite song. But it should probably be number 4. Like, what the fuck are you
It's
talking about,
objectively, it's
Tyler?
more. I like bad things, Kyle.
I don't think that's true, but it's fine. You know what we're coming to the conclusion of is that I guess Suspended the Disaster is number 3.
It's a good
Story of
song.
My Rose
I
is
just
number
don't-
2. And Evaporate's number 1.
Everyone in the comments put Suspended This Disaster as your number 1.
Fuck no.
I think it should be, but it's fine. That's my opinion. But you know what we were coming to the consensus to? Is that Bloodsucker moved up, and that Suspended the Disaster is 3. Story of My Bros is 2, and Evaporate's number 1.
And why don't I just go and recap everything?
Do
Since
it.
it is
fucking
about
do
that
it.
time. It should have been this time.
Kyle,
several minutes ago.
I'm just so happy you came to the dark side.
I've been
It
here,
backed me
man,
up.
and
You backed me up
feels
a
good.
Bloodsucker.
It tastes so good. Not the blood, that's the name, but like it tastes good because the song's tasty. All right.
I feel like there's a lot of spite being put toward me, but I agree with what you did.
You're the, Tyler, you're the
it's all
one-
stemming from the fact that you sound like you're for Suspending This Disaster. You're like, well, but, and I'm like, oh, dude,
Tyler, it just cracked me up that you knew it would piss me off, and it did.
Yeah, well, I knew, because you like rave about that song all the time, and I knew you'd get angry about it, and I was right.
At
Like-
the end of the day here, guys, is that these songs are so good, and anyone who says any of these songs is their number 1, I could totally understand. I'll have my opinion, but I could totally understand because all these songs fucking slap. And we can come together in the fact that this album is incredible. I don't know if we can come together on it that it's the best album. We probably can't. I know we can't, because Brennan earlier said that the other one's better. It's a gratification.
I was the one
Well-
that said the other one was better, but
Oh, was it? Oh, well.
I'm the man of controversial opinions, apparently.
Seems
so-
to be. But-
See, I just like instant gratification more, but eventually we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
We should do like an album ranking.
Whew, that'll be heated, but that's okay.
Let's do it.
I don't know about all that, but
We'll see what happens. We can come together and say the Dance Gavin Dance is a phenomenal band, and if you're listening to this, you probably like them too, and good for you. Good for fucking you.
Yeah.
This band's great. Listen to them, see them live, fucking spew it from the fucking mountaintops how great this band is.
you who are listening to this podcast right now, if you haven't clicked out of it, you are ranked as number 1 in our hearts.
Hell yeah.
So take that with you and sit on it.
Fuck that. Evaporate's number 1.
You're behind Evaporate, you piece of shit.
Tyler, recap this shit.
All right, yeah, we need to recap. All right, so if you're still listening, here's our final results for ranking artificial selection from worst to best. At number 14, we have Son of Robot. At number 13, Flash. Number 12, The Rattler. Number 11, Hair Song. Number 10, Gospel Burnout. Number 9, Slouch. Number 8, Midnight Crusade. Number 7, Shelf Life. Number 6, Bloodsucker.
That's right.
Number 5, Count Basie. Number 4, Care. Number 3, Suspended This Disaster. Number 2, Story of My Bros. And number 1, as God intended, Evaporate.
There is justice in the world.
There is justice somewhere. If it's the number 1, I don't know, but there's justice somewhere.
Well, we've been arguing for a very long time. And if any of you took the time to stick this out to the end, then I just want to give you a very sincere thank you. We really do appreciate your time and appreciate the views and everything. We have a lot of fun, even though it seems like we might be extremely angry and having a bad time at this point. We really do have a good time making these, and we would love to keep making these album rankings. So please let us know in the comments if you would like us to keep doing that, and also let us know what your personal rankings of the songs are, because I love hearing people's opinions on stuff like this. I think all the songs are great, and I want to hear what you guys think. If you like this video, please give it a like. That would help us out so much. And if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, please give it a good old 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. That would also just be super helpful. It would help us out more than you could ever know. Also, if you want to see more content with our sweet, luscious, delicious voices, consider subscribing to the Talks a Lot Boys, where we have done one other Dance Gavin Dance album ranking, and we do another show called the Tippity Top Podcast, where we kind of just bullshit and rank our favorite things for random topics. So it's a good time. You should check it out if you haven't already. Yeah, so I guess
We're not
that's
always
it.
this angry. We're not this angry all the time.
We're not always this angry, although we have also been more angry than this. So I mean,
you pick and choose. We have moments.
Yeah, Well, I guess that about wraps it up for today. We have been the Talks a Lot Boys, and we will talk a whole lot more next time. Thank you for listening.